living with stress and learning how to manage it. This material is property of the U.S. Department of Education and it's available to the public. It has been developed by Louis Gaviria and Associates and Gav Enterprise Group for Lauderdale, Miami for presentation by the Bilingual Parent Outreach Program, BPOP. Well, let's get down to stress. Stress happens when we think we cannot face life as it comes. It also happens when we are not prepared to face some challenges. As said by Richard Lazarus, stress is a condition or feeling experienced when a person perceives that demands exceed the personal and social resources which the individual is able to mobilize. Makes sense, huh? But there is more. Stress is what we experience when our problems and worries seem to be larger than our means to solve them. Yes, all changes, good or bad, cause some stress. Changes always impose some sort of challenge and create that tension. The visit of a relative, moving to a new home, even if it is a better one, coming to live to a new country is very challenging and causes a lot of stress, regardless of the positive motivation of the family. Now, we adapt to some changes more easily than to others. We are different as human beings, and some people take some time, while others never seem to adapt. We have seen that in our families and friends. Now, the stress reaction is normal and helps us to have more stamina and power when dealing with some issues in life, like defending our kids from any threat. The stress of being financially challenged helps us to go out and look for a new job or make decisions regarding cutting on expenses. Thanks to basic stress, we get up in the morning and get our kids ready for school. Then we go out and work for the rest of the day. No stress, we would just stay flat in our bed all day. The same holds true for the opposite. With excessive stress, we would love to stay in bed and do nothing. We need stress to function and survive. And there is this kind of distress or excessive stress, those high levels of stress that affect the mind and the body, degrading the quality of life, performance, and eventually health itself. But there is also eustress or good stress, positive stress. This is the kind we need to function properly and reach our goals. There are quite a few causes for excessive stress. This is just a basic list. Of course, there are many more. Changes. We just say that. Changes cause stress. Excess in work load. People who work more than 40 hours per week, and that makes a lot of our population, are more prone to cardiovascular problems. And what about financial challenges? Most of us have been through that. What about affective breakup, divorce? That's one of the killers, by the way. Difficulties in love life, loneliness. This is a very lonely culture that we live in. Excessive noise. People who work close to places where there is a lot of noise, they have more stress than the average. But there are also allergies. Allergies create stress. Illness, being sick, is so stressful. What about social pressure? Get a new car. What car are you driving right now? Can't you afford a better one? Where are you living at? Don't you have kids yet? Social pressure can cause a lot of tension. And what about war? That's a biggie right there that causes so much pain in families. Just the expectation of sending our kids to war is something so stressful. Let's take a quick look at stress physiology. When we had difficulties at home, we often get sick later, since stress usually charges its toll sometime afterwards. When we are anxious, very often we get cold hands or cold feet, even on a warm day. That is the result of angiotensin, which causes our blood vessels to shrink, and that also explains why in some circumstances we get that pale look. It's because under stress our bodies produce adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol, renin, and angiotensin 2 and angiotensin 3. You don't have to think about these chemicals. Just all you have to do is think that this is normal and our body produces that in order to create some outcomes, to defend us. The effects of those chemicals in our bodies are muscle tension, heart rate that goes up, blood pressure goes up too, and there is a sense of reduced fatigue. Our defenses are lowered. We have to remember that stress is closely related to our immune system. Under stress, our immune response, the capacity of the body to fight infection, is lowered. Now, there is also reduction in blood circulation. Limb temperature goes down, like when we say we got cold feet or cold hands. That's as much as we have to know to keep going on this study about stress. Well, let's take a look at some facts. We usually go back to normal in a few minutes. But sometimes, after going through long stressful times, the body gets used to the new high blood pressure or to that fast beating heart and somehow gets stuck there. We then become sick. Yes, it happens. Somehow our body gets fooled, and in the case of high blood pressure, it becomes something normal to keep it high. So, this is how it works. Stress usually sends the bill after the situation has been accepted or fixed. And this is not good. Let's take a look at some symptoms of stress. But let me explain first that having some or all of these symptoms does not automatically mean that you are stressed. It could be the manifestation of another condition or sickness. You always should check with your doctor before coming to believe that it's always a matter of stress. Now, let's take a look at it. First, our muscles. Undergoing so much tension, we get pain in our neck or our shoulders. We get headaches and we get fatigue. From the emotional point of view, there is, for some people, crying, sadness with no apparent reason, depression. Some people experience panic attacks, insomnia. Remember, that is difficulties, sleep difficulties, all right? Bad temper, and some people even get more aggressive when they are under stress. Now, on the cardiovascular side, many people get many different conditions, but one of them is hypertension and also migraines. Gastrointestinal. Some people experience colic, diarrhea, colitis, gastritis, and all those difficulties that have to do with our digestion. Skin. Some people experience sores or dermatitis. And again, our immune system. There is a lowered resistance to infections. Remember always to go and check with your doctor before making up your mind that this is just stress. Very often, a lot of our stress is created by ourselves. It is imperative that we recognize that many times we are hoping for the worst. Therefore, we are preparing for chaos and failure. Yes, we have to understand this. There are some sources in the outside, the environment. Let's just name a few here. Workload, a bossy, demanding boss, financial challenges, loneliness, aggressiveness. And then, what about our own thought process? What about our own dwelling on those negative thinking patterns, expecting for the worst, hoping that if we expect for the worst, if something positive happens, we might be surprised? That is a trap.